You
Yeah,
ready,
let's
Van?
do it.
Yeah. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm with Van once again for the tutorial video on how to change a protocol parameter. So how to do a protocol parameter update. Of course, thank you, Van, a lot for your help. And there's also Willie on the channel and Bob. Bob, that's always been there for us. He's there. He's silently listening to us, and sometimes he puts his input. He puts his input, but he's there. Uh, yeah. So if you guys want to encourage my friend, I'm gonna take some times to mention this pool. So yeah, steak smoke hern. It's right there. Weed steak pool.
We
I'm
have we
very
have lots
grateful.
of room for new delegators, so if anybody's interested, give us a shot.
He's also the host, one of the hosts of Epoch and Space, Twitter Space, which I really love. Uh,
That's enough about me. Enough about me.
yeah, all right, let's do it. Okay, so here's the deal. We're trying to get a constitutional committee on SanchoNet, which is composed of Rick, myself, Van, I think Petpool, and Circurin, Ryan. I think that's it. I'm not sure I'm forgetting people, but
And at the time of this video, we've just had a reroll of SanchoNet, which means there is no constitutional committee at all right now.
no more dictators, no more let's break things, right? There's a lot of governance action though, because that's something else. But anyway, nothing was broken, everything works fine, and we cannot, at the moment, get our committee up there because we need 51% of the of the total stake money to stake pool to vote yes on that proposal.
Hey, I got a question. What happened? You said Van, you're going to be a D-rep?
I am a DREP, yes, sir.
Okay, how does that work when you're a D-rep and a pool?
No laws have been written yet, my friend.
You can be both. You can be
Okay,
both.
yeah, I just wonder.
But the stake delegated to the pool doesn't necessarily delegate itself to your DREP. These
Right,
are
exactly.
two different
Yep.
entities. So you can be a stake pool having an amount of money in there, and you can also be a DREP and have people delegating their voting power to you. These are two separate things.
And that hypothetical is almost it's a rough analogy, but it's almost like if you could be elected as a U.S. senator and a U.S. House of Representatives at the same time, but the powers you still have to follow the rules in each house.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, okay, you get 2 votes.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
You could, but I believe there's again more power to organizational DREP entity than just a single person doing it. I could myself be a DREP, just myself, and have people delegating to me. But if I do create a native script or a multi-signature DREP, and I get some of the well-recognized people around, there's less room to corruptions, and also there's actually, I think, it's more valuable because
Yeah.
there's a consensus between members of a single DREP entity for those votes.
You know, yeah, Mike, that makes a lot of sense what you're saying, but history loves strong men.
Yeah.
Who everyone trusts this one guy, and he
Right.
decides
Egomaniac.
every important decision, and everybody believes in him.
That's okay. It's up to the people, right? You can be a private DREP, you can be a single DREP, and you can be a multi-sig DREP, which is just awesome, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is off topic. Right now,
Off topic.
Sorry.
we have 29 stake pools on SanchoNet, so the number was almost accurate. We require right now around half of those guys plus one to vote yes on that proposal, and this is not gonna happen. Even if I farm as much as I want engagement, so the two options are
What for the viewers, Mike? Just so they know, why is it? So we want to get the new constitutional committee update to the ledger, right?
Yes.
But in order to do that, we're going to have to get 51% of the stake pools to vote yes on it, or 51% of the delegated stake. Right now, we're roughly assuming all of these pool IDs that we see here have roughly an equivalent amount of stake delegated to them.
They do.
And
They do have the exact
right,
same amount.
and so assuming that, you're basically just saying it's just too annoying. It's not that it couldn't be done. It's just you want to try a different route to update
Right.
this rather than reaching out to the SPOs and trying to do all that organizing.
This is not the main net. Everyone's testing. Everyone's doing their thing. Flutter scripts, native scripts, testing the features. They don't always have the time to use their cold keys because that's what you have to use. As an SPO, you have to use your cold keys to vote on things such as hard forks, update committees, and no confidence. So trying to get engagement from half of those guys on SanchoNet, on a testnet, is pretty hard. So what we're going to do today, we're going to try to lower that threshold. So we're going to do, I'm going to do a tutorial as well, but this is going to be to allow us to lower that threshold to make it easier for it to pass, so we can get Rick, Circarin, myself, you, and Pet Lover Pool up there. Or possibly put them up there. Because to be able to have a committee, an elected committee, we need two specific thresholds to be crossed. We need the DREP thresholds to be crossed and the SPO thresholds to be crossed. If just one of those two doesn't pass, nothing happens. But having no committee, and we are on a normal state, which means that we're not in a no confidence state. We didn't get any of them out because there's none. So on a normal state, having no committee members, we can ratify, update protocol parameter proposals only with the DREPS votes, which is what we're going to try to do today.
Wow, okay. I have more questions, but let's just, I'll pepper them through the video.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open just a text editor like this, so I can build my my proposal on it. It's going to be easier for me. Sancho.network is the place to go when you want to play with the CLI, because you can see up there in documentation, and you guys are getting used to that, I'm sure, we can create a governance action, and we're going to scroll down, not so far. We need to do a protocol parameter change. Update protocol parameter change. And this example, yes?
Yeah. I was just going to say, so for people watching, this is almost like, for the rough U.S. government analogy, it's almost like where each one of these subheadings is almost like a different category for each new law, if you will, or new bill. Is like you decide as part of the submission of a new action which category it falls into, and that's obviously an important thing.
Yes.
You know, when you're, you know, it's all about the details. So
as you can see, this is the main command, right? Governance action create, and you can see all the ones that you can create. You can create a constitution, update the committee, create an info action, which is a poll, create a no confidence. If there is a committee and you don't like it, you want to get them out. Create protocol parameter update. This is the one we're going to do. You can create a treasury withdrawal, or you can view the governance action that you created.
And typically you would have to use the update committee parameter, but because we're not updating the committee, we're originating the committee. I mean, it's not, or is that the way we're kind of weaseling into this this committee update?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna get there. You'll understand why. I'm gonna hold myself from. Oh wait. Yeah. So let's create it, right? If you want to see the commands, right? I could just retype this and add to it the main command that I want to use, which is create protocol parameter update. So I'm just going to add it here like this. And I'll see, woo, that's a lot. Here.
So these are all the protocol parameters that can be that are updatable.
That is correct. That is correct. I can make it bigger if you guys don't see it here. So, as you may already know, if you don't, I'm going to tell you. Parenthesis is mandatory and square bracket is not mandatory, right? But if you use a flag that's in a square bracket, you have to use all of those that are in the same, inside the same brackets. So if I mention a previous governance action ID, I am forced to use also its index. I'm gonna get there soon. But I have to mention the mainnet or the testnet. So we're on the testnet. I have to mention the governance action deposit, of course, that I'm going to pay, which on SanchoNet is 1,000 ADA. It is a deposit. I get it back when it is ratified or expired. And something else I have to mention is my deposit return stake key or stake credential. So this is where the money is going to get back from the deposit. I need to mention also an anchor URL and its hash, which will justify why do I want to do that? Why do I want to update the protocol parameter? And the reason is pretty much going to be because it's SanchoNet, and for the testing purposes of those who wants to be constitutional committee members, we have to lower that threshold. So we don't have to ask for every SPOs to engage with their cold key.
Oh, I get what you're doing now. It just clicked in my brain. Okay.
I want to lower their threshold. So
yeah.
Just like what I did, but in a less drastic scale, I was thinking maybe 6% or 7%, just so like we have two stake pools.
4.2. 4.2. 4.20%. 4.2. Come on, man.
Okay, yeah, sorry. 4.2069. We'll get there. We'll get there. So
have a little fun, man. Come on, throw a 426.9 in there, dude. Let people know you were there.
Okay. So here is the full list of protocol parameters that you can update, right? And that's it.
These are all the things DREPs have to learn about, basically. You know, your DREP should know exactly what each one of these things. Oh, sorry. Your DREP should understand the meaning of each of these different inputs that we see here.
Preferably, yes. The minimum fee linear is the one we changed. That's the base fee. The constant is the fee per byte. They don't have the same naming than what's written on the protocol parameter. I don't personally know why. They're probably going to change it or not. Doesn't matter much to me, but anyway. You can change the key deposits, everything. The monetary expansion, the treasury expansion. How much does it get from your transaction? Right now it's 20%. We could want it lower, right? This has been discussed as well. So, a lot of those things, and including what we're looking for, the pool voting thresholds. If you want to change a protocol parameter, a specific one, they're all non-mandatory, so you don't have to mention them all. But if you take one that's inside a square bracket, you have to put also each one of them that's there. So if I want to change, for example, the one I'm looking to change is the pool voting threshold during a committee normal state. That's the state we're at right now, even if there's no committee, which is set to 51%. But if I want to change this one, I have to include all the other ones in my governance action file. So if I want to just change this one, I could change only the value of this one and mention the actual value of the other ones. So they won't change, they'll stay the same. But if I don't do that, it's not going to work. You're going to get an error message when you would try to submit it. Okay?
We'll just set them all low, right?
Well, it's not really useful. I mean, there's the pool voting threshold for hard fork. The security group, they added it. Oh, that is so cool. That wasn't there before.
Just to troll, though. I mean, just for the fun of it, let's just set them all low and make them do something about it.
The mic.
I mean, if the SPOs are too lazy to vote on shit, then I mean that's an attack vector, isn't it?
That's the thing. The stake pool operator cannot vote on update protocol parameter except this one. Except this one.
Okay.
So this is a tricky thing that's been added recently. The stake pool operators, all of these here, have 2 layers of security. You need to cross the DREP threshold and the constitutional committee thresholds, but there's no constitutional committee, so it's going to pass automatically. But since we have to add that last one there, if I would have liked to change... No, actually, never mind. This is the threshold. This is the threshold for the stake pool operators concerning the protocol parameter security. They don't have no say on that. This is interesting. But
the main thing right now is that we just need the pool voting threshold committee normal.
That's correct. So we're going to build our transaction now. All right. So if I take that's what I usually do. I'll just take the template that's there. I'll copy it. And then we'll modify it according to what we want to do specifically. So I'll get into my notes. I'll paste right there. So the main command here is the right one. We're good. The testnet has been mentioned. Actually, I'm going to just put it here. As you can see, this is mandatory. So the testnet has been mentioned. The next thing is the governance action deposit, which is 1,000 fake ADA. And it's always, you always have to write it in loveless when you build a transaction like that. So you have to add 60 to your 1,000. But the way it's written right there, it's pretty much simple. It gets the flag of governance action deposit, and the amount is the query to know what it is. So right now on SanchoNet, again, it's 1,000. If I run this command here, it's going to give me 1,000. So if I copy paste it, for example, here, I'll get 1,000. It's in Lovelace, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, you have 1,000. 1,000 million Lovelace. But anyway.
Yeah, a billion Lovelace is how.
Yes.
We should properly. A billion Lovelace. Think about that, people. Think about what you're doing with your precious ADA.
Precious Lovelace. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Because.
Sorry, precious Lovelace.
So yeah, this runs the command to get the right number. And since I'm using fake ADA, I don't really have to care about how much I'm going to send there. I just want the right amount. 1,000. Yeah. The deposit return verification key. So that's your stake address, or actually your stake credential, where the deposit is going to get back to when it is ratified or expired, because you want that money back. It's a deposit. So you have to mention, of course, your stake verification key for that. But it could be an hash or a string as well. Up to you. I just mentioned my key. The anchor is the reason why you want to do that. So I don't know if I have an anchor for this. Actually, I probably don't. I'm gonna go check it out. GitHub.
The anchor needs to be a link to a web page that has your written or video form justification.
A metadata file, and there's also, I have to mention it, the community is presently working on this. It's going to be the SIP 108 and the SIP 100. So we're going to have metadata standards specifically for that. So if you don't follow those metadata standards and it is written in the Constitution that you do have to follow those, and you don't follow those, it could be seen as unconstitutional. So you might get a no vote. So it's important to verify that when on mainnet. Right now it doesn't matter. It's SanchoNet, right? So we won't break our head, but eventually I think it's going to be probably a good thing that I show the people those metadata standards when they're going to be officially set. But just saying, it's coming. What else? Where was I? Yes, the proposal. So I got a couple one there. I just don't know what I read. All right. Submitter, Myconan, update committee, 3 people total, blah blah blah. And test results. Oh yeah, that's our dictatorial one. We will carry out a large number of voting tests. I do not have an hash for that. And I don't think that's relevant to just prepare one specifically right now for this, because it's going to take a lot of time. And anyway, let's say I want to use this one, right? Let's say I want to use this proposal. So what I do, I just create it, right? And then when it's done, you get your link to your raw file and you get it because you need to generate an hash from it. That's how people will verify that since this is not on chain, it is off chain. They want to make sure that you're not going to modify it, right? That what you submitted is what's written off chain on this link. So to do that, you need to grab the file and generate an hash from it, and you're going to submit the hash with it. So if I ever change that file, the hash is not going to be the same as the hash that I submitted, so it will be invalid in a way. So I cannot change that afterwards. That's what it means. Alright, so to do that, I think I already showed it before, but I'm going to show it again. You could just wget. Well, no, wait, I'm not in the right file. I'm going to go into my keys directory. There you go. Alright, let's see this. So I can wget my proposal file. Now I have it. Just gonna check real quick. This is the one. So now I want to generate an hash from it. So I'll do Cardano CLI Conway governance hash. And I have to mention if it's an anchor hash or a script hash, which I'm not going to talk today, but we're going for the anchor hash. So anchor dash data. And now we need to mention the file text. So my file text is ccproposal.json, and you got your hash right there. So what I could do is just here, you add your link to your metadata, your URL link, and you include your hash, and you're set. Again, I'm not going to do that because right now that's not the right one. I'm just going to use the one that the template has, which is probably a rickroll from Ryan. I didn't look at it.
Yeah, and the idea there is that you would be able to verify whether or not someone was trying to get. Oh, sorry, I'm hearing some feedback from my own. Oh, okay. Anyways, sorry, technical difficulty, but the hash is just there to be a simple way to verify that things aren't being changed after the fact. So you know, you can click on that anchor and you can read a justification for the governance action that was voted upon. And you can see what the motivations were. And let's say someone made a governance action. They had a certain justification for it. It got passed. Then things did not go the way they planned. They could then retroactively try to go back and say, oh, justifying what they did or what happened, and This
Yes.
kind of verifies, or at least alerts people to know that the person who submitted it is trying to go back and
Yeah.
change essentially why. And so you'll know, okay, this is BS.
Exactly. And especially if they modify it before ratification. If they, oh, I shouldn't have put that, and they change it, then it's in a way you can already validate that what you read is it what has been submitted. If the hash don't match, they modified it afterwards, so it's not valid. I
And it,
wouldn't vote
and
yes on it.
it's kind of been a funny thing because on SanchoNet, the way people are voting currently is, hey guys, I just submitted this proposal. Here's what's in it. Will you vote yes for it? And there's maybe 10, 20 people who are engaging and, okay, yeah, sure. And they take the ID and they vote on it. But in the future, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be a bigger ecosystem where, people are submitting really detailed, really nuanced stuff, and the anchor will be full of really detailed information. It could be full of research. It could be full of a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, I invite you
So
guys
right now
to.
it kind of seems arbitrary, but when you have thousands of DREPs and thousands of governance actions, you need to be organized and verifiable quickly.
There's gonna be standards about it. It's coming. So I'll invite you guys to go into the Cardano Foundation repository, and maybe you could start now to read the SIP 100 and the SIP 108. There's one that's made for DREP specifically, and the other one is made for governance action, and it's going to be a standard. If you don't respect the standards, I'm almost 90% certain it's going to be on the Constitution, so they will have the right to vote you out if you don't respect those norms. And it's just norms about, the reasoning behind your actions, just so it's not a mess of metadata files. Okay, that being said, now on the template, the protocol parameter that was tried to be changed is the key register deposit amount. I don't want that. This is not the one I want to change. So I'll remove it, and I will add the parameter that I want to change. Action create. There you are. So the ones that I want are these. Again, I have to include them all. So I want all the thresholds. I'll copy them and I will paste them on my file there. Can you see it well, or I could actually zoom that?
I can see it okay, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah. The percentage can be calculated. I'll show it to you. So 1 represent 100%, and the two numbers after the comma represent. So okay, yeah, they're all there. I'll show it to you. So I erase rational because that's the value that's required, and for no confidence I want to leave it at 0.51, which is 51%, and that's it. Same thing here. What do we have? Pool voting threshold committee normal. That's the one I want to lower. So I'm going to put 0. Are you laughing?
0. Can you go
142 like this?
Yeah, beautiful.
Or you want to be like
we could just go
60?
0.4. Let's just go 0.4. That's enough. We don't need to. We don't want to. We don't want to offend anybody.
Okay, 0.4. That's gonna be it. So this is the one we want to change to make it easier for us to ratify. But again, this is not gonna get ratified right away. We need to ratify this one, right?
Right.
That doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
But we don't need the SPOs. That's the whole point.
Yes.
We don't need the SPOs to ratify this. We just need DREPs.
That's correct. And we don't have no constitutional committee members to judge our anchor data, so
it will automatically, once you get that DREP approval, there's no committee to veto it, so we're in.
exactly.
Beautiful.
So 0.51 for 51% everywhere else. I don't want to change those. I don't want to change those. 51%.
Very cool.
Let me just double check something because I don't remember if it's a dot or if it's a comma that has to be used. See, yeah, it's a dot. Okay, so as you can see, they're all there. And this one is the one we're looking to change. All right.
So when we're done here, they'll all be the same.
Yeah.
Except for that one will be 0.04.
Exactly.
But we're including all of them because if we don't, we'll get an error because it requires all 4 of those. Yeah.
That is absolutely
Again,
correct.
it could seem arbitrary to somebody, but that's why you're doing it.
Yes, this is the way this is made. Again, if you're not sure which one you should include, you can just type down the main command, and you will get the list. And if not, there's that great website that everybody probably already know. That is able-pool.io, where you can get.
You have the Cardano CLI study sheet and the study guide and the cheat sheet.
The cheat sheet I'm looking for. You can go there, which reference every existing command from the CLI, and you can go into the protocol parameter update right there, and you can zoom it as much as you want, and you can look for it. As you can see, everything that's inside the square brackets from the specific one you want to change, you have to include them. So if I wanted to change, for example, a DREP threshold, I would have to get them all. You see this? Or else I get an error message and I cannot submit it. So this is a good reference as well. I'm going to put it here. Okay, so where we're at. What do we have now? We have all the parameters that I'm supposed to put there. I've put my value that I wanted. What else do I need? Did I forget something? So I'm going to look down, and the rest is not mandatory, and I just have to mention out file, which is already there, I believe. Yeah, out file. So the name of my action file is going to be ppupdate.action. So normally if I copy this and paste it, it should work. If I did it well.
And that as a reminder was just the name provided in the SanchoNet tutorial.
Yes.
The provided command.
It's a standardized name. You could use any names you want. It could be we.action or anything. It doesn't matter as long as you use that name when you build your transaction, because it's going to ask you for that action file and you have to use the right name. So normally if I copy paste this, I should be able to make it. It should work. So let's try it. We're good.
Hey.
We have our action.
No news is good news.
Just in case everything's fine, we could check it. So we could do Cardano CLI. Or for example, if you're a multisig DREP and one of your members made that governance action and wants to show it to you so you can vote on it, for example. Well, you're actually going to see it on chain anyway, but just for the sake of the features, you can do Cardano CLI Conway governance action view. And you can see the action file which we just made, and it's called pp update action. And there it is. This is our action file. We see the deposit, we see the anchor, we see what do we want to change, right? And here it might look confusing. Yeah. So this is 4 minus, like, you have to move the comma 2 times negatively. I don't know how you say it right in English, so that's the way I'm going to say it. E2 means that you have to move the dot 2 times negatively.
Why is it not expressed the same way as the others?
I have no idea.
Is that because that's the one, maybe that's the one that it doesn't currently match the... No, it wouldn't know that, right? It wouldn't be aware of... Because that's the only one being changed.
Possibly, but it means the same thing, pretty much. You could write down 51% the same way if you wanted to. You could type down 51.0 and put a E minus 2 there.
That's strange, though, right? I mean, it's a little odd.
Well, it's, I don't know.
The only one that's being changed, though, is expressed that way. That doesn't seem odd.
Well, as long as you can understand it, I don't mind.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's interesting.
The return address here, you can see the hash of your key. So it's the hash generated by your stake key, right? So this is the return address for the deposit. That's all the information you need right there. The testnet, everything. We're good. So now we have to submit it. Let's do that. That's the easy part, actually. We get back to SanchoNet because this is the coolest website in the world. You get all kinds of information about the CLI there. You mix that with the CLI cheat sheet, and you're set. That's awesome. Okay, so I'll scroll down and look for the submitting the action. So we'll submit it. Again, I'll just copy the template and I will paste it in my environment. Yeah, we're about to submit something.
I like being late.
Okay, so here's the transaction build, right? The transaction build main command and the flags. What do we have? We have to mention the testnet magic. Witness override is the keys I'm supposed to use. The number of keys I'm supposed to use. This is not required technically if you only sign a normal transaction, but if you include proposal action files or stuff that costs deposit or other things, it's always good to mention it. Got that information from Samuel. So witness override, how many keys we're going to use to sign this? We're going to use our payment keys for the transaction and the stake key, because the key, the stake credential we use are coming from our stake keys. We have to sign with our private key to enable us to validate that transaction as ours, because that's where the deposit's getting back into our stake address, just like our rewards. So the transaction in is the command that queries our address for the payment. It queries the UTXO of our address, right? So again, if I just run the command, key, no, that's the parenthesis that was.
Oh, there you go.
Connecting. So this is my UTXO. Okay, but if I want to see all my UTXOs, I could just use that command again, and I'll just do this. I'll remove everything in out file, and it's going to give me the only UTXO I have on this wallet, which is this one. So I got precisely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got, oh, this is sad.
You don't have enough.
I don't have enough to pay for it. Oh no!
Oh man, you're broke. Even on the testnet, you're broke, Mike.
What am I gonna do? I can't
You're not
pay
even
for
rich on the
it.
testnet, bro? Come on. Everybody's rich on the testnet.
Do you want to send
Let
me?
me see how much. Let me see. Let me see how much I have.
You want to send me some money, man?
Or go to the faucet real quick. You could go to the SanchoNet faucet. You can have enough. Yeah, go.
Okay, I'll try
Right?
it.
Or
I'll try it.
you
Payment.
might have to combine UTXOs
Payment.address.
after.
Let's see if I can query something. I'll query some more. Okay, let's see. Faucet. Hope it's gonna work. I'm not a robot. Of course not. Submit. Oh!
I'm not a robot.
Another 10,000.
I'm French Canadian. Yeah, there you go.
I'm not a robot. I'm French Canadian.
It's like you failed.
You failed the requirements.
I'm not sending you any ADA.
There's only one. There's only one French Canadian on SanchoNet, and we don't trust them. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Banned.
It's banned from the faucet. That's all right. I'll use a VPN. You won't know it's
So
me.
there should be a little more test data in there now.
Yes. Let's run that command again and see. It's there. Oh, where? Got money. All right. I'll be able to make my transaction now. So I got the money for my transaction in. The change address is my payment address. So if there's change money, because I'm actually, the way UTXO works, as you guys may already know, you spend the entire UTXO. So I have a UTXO with 10,000. You send all the 10,000, and what comes back is your change. So if it's only to
That's
pay,
what makes wallet drainer scams so sweet and delicious and evil. You know, that's why it's so.
that's not right. On Cardano, that's one of the only change when that's one of the only chain when you can know the outcomes of a transaction before it occurs.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
So
But still, there's still that risk there, though. Once somebody gets you to sign a transaction for one item in your wallet, they've kind of gotten you to sign a transaction for everything if you're not aware of what you're signing,
That's
right?
right.
Like, but that's the power. Like you said, his Cardano actually does show you, here's your wallet before you sign this, here's your wallet after, you know, in a very clear way.
That's the beauty of the CLI and building your transaction yourself, is that you are the one who build the transaction. You can have a custodial party that build the transaction for yourself and you still see the outcome, but sometimes you just sign it too quickly. You don't really check it because you're not the one building it. You're the one signing it. That's what happens.
It's like when you drive with a stick shift, you know? It's like it makes you kind of more conscious of what the car is doing because you have to actively engage. Whereas when it's automatic, you just stomp on the pedal and it just goes, and it's fun, but it, you know.
That's correct. That's a good analogy. Okay.
Perfect analogy. It's perfect.
Yeah. So proposal file was made for an info action. So I'm gonna put what was called, that was a pp dash update.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm just gonna look for it. It's there. Where is it? PP
update action.
PP dash update dot action. Okay, that looks legit. PP slash update.
Or was it pp proposal dot json? No.
What's that? Where's it?
PP update action or P. Oh,
no,
I'm
the
sorry.
proposal. The proposal is the that's the URL that I downloaded into the server to generate the hash afterwards. It was just to show people how to generate your hash and submit your hash with the right file or from the URL that you downloaded. Okay, out file. The name of the file that it's going to generate is our transaction raw. So we got it. It's good. It's there. We have the money. And since we use a transaction build and not build raw, we build this online and it's going to calculate for us that we don't have the money. Oh yeah, that's the problem of this command. That's right.
It needs to be a single UTXO, right?
No, it uses a single UTXO, but it always uses the first one, which doesn't have enough money. So what I'll do, I'll grab the right one that I want to spend. I'll copy it, and instead of using this old command there,
but you don't have enough, do you?
I don't have enough on the first UTXO. Here,
but the second one.
The second one's right. The second one is the one we just queried. So I'm grabbing the hash from the second one, and I also need to mention with an hashtag the index number, which is 0. So transaction in is that, and it's gonna work because I used the right UTXO. So let's try it again. It's going to work this time, and it generates our fee, which are this. So
just to be clear, what was the fee? So how much was in that UTXO? Is that 10,000 ADA?
That's 10,000 ADA.
Okay, and we needed 1,000 to submit the.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
So
sorry, I was thinking. Yeah. Okay.
So technically, what's going to come back from that transaction is probably going to be around 8,900 something, because there's the deposit plus the fee. So it's going to be like slightly under 9,000. We can check it after. So now we build a transaction raw file. We need to sign it. So let's go sign it. I need to sign it. So what do I sign it with? I sign it with my payment address, my payment keys credentials, and my stake keys credential. So if you go down there, that's what it does. Here. I'll show it to you guys. Here. Cardinal CLI Conway transaction sign. We need to mention the testnet, the name of the transaction raw file that we build a transaction with, and the payment. Oh, that's yeah, and the payment keys to unlock our UTXO from our payment address, and the stake signing key, because on the action file we mentioned and we used our stake verification key to submit it. This is the signature that's required for us to get back our deposit. All right.
Which is kind of interesting, huh? You need your stake key to get the deposit back.
Well, it's our
Which-
credential. It's some kind of our decentralized identity or the identity of our wallets, because we don't submit governance action from DREP perspective or SCC or whatever, and it comes from the idea that everyone can submit a governance action. So you don't need to be a DREP, CC or whatever. As long as you can pay the deposit, it is a deposit. It gets back in your pocket when it's ratified or expired, whatever the cost of that deposit.
So now we have our signed transaction file.
Yes, we have to submit it.
And we're going to submit that to the chain.
Yes.
And then I am going to vote yes on this action because I feel very strongly about it.
What happened? Conway governance failure, invalid previous governance. Oh! The previous governance action ID! How could I
for the
forget that?
for the previous constitutional committee.
No,
there is-
no. Every time you do a governance action other than treasury withdrawal, you have to add into your vote file, into your action file, the hash and the index of the previous governance action ID that has been enacted. So how do we get that?
So, AKA, like the most recent state of governance of the
Yes,
you need to
yes.
include that. Yeah.
It's gonna be real quick, actually. Conway, we need the
I
governance
was
state. What's that?
no nothing. I was just thinking out loud, but I was thinking it was related to the constitutional committee. But this is not something related really to what we're doing here. It was just a little oversight. It's not related to the constitutional committee.
No, not this one.
We would need to do this for any type of
Any type except the treasury withdrawal.
yeah.
So we need to query the enact state. Okay. So this is the full list. But what I need from that list is just
So this is the
previous.
according to what's on chain. This is the state of all the adjustable protocol parameters.
Yeah.
And of course, we can see the pool voting threshold right there, just above, which is all at 51%.
So if you do enact state only, you get every protocol parameter that is set right now on SanchoNet. But from that, I want to see like a subfield, if I can call it like that, which is the previous governance action ID. That's all I want. So here is the list of all previous governance action ID that has been enacted. So as you can see, there's no committee, so no governance action ID, no governance action about the committee has been enacted yet on this fork, on this chain. But we did have a constitution, so if I ever want to change it, I need to mention that. No hard fork has been done, but we did ratify a governance action ID for protocol parameter update, and it was the committee minimum size. I think it is set to 7, if I remember well, but it is there, so I have to use this specifically. So let's.
So SanchoNet hasn't exactly. This is since the reroll recently hasn't been super active when it comes to new governance action being passed. We could put it that way.
Yep. So, okay, I got this. So since I don't remember the way I have to type it, I could just do this, and I'll include it into my file here. That's what I totally forgot here, these two. So I'll copy them and I will paste them.
Well, they don't. Those don't have the. Those have square brackets around them.
Yeah, they're not meant Yeah, you're correct. They're not mandatory because they cannot make them mandatory for the simple reason that if there was
treasure.
no, if they would have put it mandatory with parentheses, this would mean that you would be forced to use those every time. But what if Voltaire just got out and there was absolutely no governance action enacted about protocol parameters update? Would you still be forced to mention a previous governance action that doesn't exist, right? So it is not technically mandatory, but as soon as there's one that has already been enacted, it becomes mandatory. So this is why you have square brackets instead of parentheses. It is also mentioned, I think it's here. Yeah. Note, if there is a previously enacted governance action update to the protocol parameter, the proposal must also include these two guys that I didn't include it.
So over time, that's going to become a pretty big list of IDs, right?
No, because the new one replaced the old one every time.
Oh, right.
So
it's not a, yeah.
Yes, if our governance action gets enacted, this hash there is going to be replaced by ours.
Gotcha. It's the most recent single governance action that was updated, not the entire list of, yeah.
That's correct. All right.
My bad. I was thinking it was like a total list of previously enacted governance actions you had to include, but it's just that most recent one that was put on chain.
You know what? That's exactly why I love the fact that you're here with me today. Because those questions doesn't necessarily come to mind right away, and you ask them every time, and this is great. This is just great. All right. Transaction ID. What is it? I did the query, so let's go get it. Where is it? I'm gonna scroll up. Parameter update. So this is the one. This is what I'm looking for. I'll copy and paste it there. There you go. That's my ID. And I need to mention the index, which is probably 0, but I'm not sure. It is 0. All right. The index is 0. Let's put 0 there. And now it should be good. I'll copy it. And we will redo the process again. PP update. We're good.
Nice.
And it's a good thing I got all my things saved there. We'll use the same transaction build that I used. And there you go. Paste it. We got our fees.
And that just replaced the last PP update action, right?
Yes.
The previous one you had, yeah, it's just we have our new updated one. You submitted that. Now we're gonna, we're gonna sign it, and we're gonna submit that new one.
Actually, I'm pretty curious to see if I go back to my where was it? My section view.
Yeah.
If I can see the previous one. Oh, you see there? Governance section. It is there.
Oh, yeah.
So in the content, there is the previous action ID that's mentioned as well before the change.
That's interesting because that's all you need, because at any given time, there can only be one most recent governance action, right?
Yep. It's also useful because sometimes you got more. You have to consider you might have more than one proposal at a time on chain. You can have like 5 different persons submitting a proposal for and you don't want those to clash.
Yeah, exactly. You have to reconcile with whatever, just because things are happening so fast. It's almost like, hey, before we make 5 new laws, can we just all talk about this last one that happened before we're, it's like things are happening so quickly.
So let's say I want to raise K parameter to 1,000. And at the same time, I want to change the treasury expansion for 15% instead of 20%. Then I'm pretty sure the community is going to be all in for it. And let's say they vote yes on both of them. you do not want those two to happen at the same time during the same epoch boundary. So the one that's going to happen between those two is the first one that has been submitted, and then the second one is not going to have anymore the right previous governance section ID, so that person's going to have to resubmit another one. It's just to make sure that during the epoch boundary you don't get like 5 protocol parameter proposals at the same time. So like, blah.
Well, it's an interesting kind of the future news cycle of Cardano will be epoch by epoch. You know, it's like every epoch boundary we have a whole new Cardano already, but just wait until we have governance actions getting enacted. You know, all of a sudden it's like every epoch is going to be a whole new thing to explore. You know, hopefully if people are actually using it, which
Yep.
I think they will.
So let's sign it again. I'm just going through the process that I already did. Sign it and submit it, and it is going to work this time. I'm confident. That's it. It's on chain. It's on chain, but is it really on chain? Is it really on chain? Let's see. Oh, wait. I'm gonna go check.
I want to vote on this bad boy.
This has to be into a block, and I just submitted it. So it's probably not there yet. Not sure. Gonna wait for the next block. I'm gonna look for it. Well, let's see. What is my governance action ID? I don't know. What is it? How can I know it? How can I verify? What is it? To know my governance action ID, I have to get into my keys file, and the name of the file that I just signed and sent on chain is called transaction sign, if I'm not wrong. Is it transaction signed? Transaction signed. So if I grab the transaction ID from that file, so I do something simple like Cardano, CLI, Conway, transaction, and I want the transaction ID from that transaction file, which is transaction.signed. This is my governance action ID. And the index is probably 0 because I have no more outputs, and I submitted just one. So I'll grab the command. That's a big one from my channel. I'll paste it there, and I will replace the governance action ID hash that's here with the one that I just used. That's there. Here. Copy. Paste. You know, Cardinals are all about copy pasting.
Thank God.
I shouldn't say that. All right, let's see. Is it there? There it is. This is our governance action ID on chain. So what do you got? You got the previous governance action ID. We got the change. We want 4% for the pool voting threshold on a committee normal state. That's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
It is a
And it's
parameter
represented
change.
normally now too, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. You see, you complain
Not
for,
that it
for
matters.
you complain for nothing. it's right there.
It's just, you know, it is interesting that the one thing that was being altered was represented in differently from the others, but yeah.
It's all about understanding the way it is, right? I mean, if you
All's
see
well that ends well.
Yeah. So it's a parameter change. This is the actual governance ID if you want to share it to your friends and you know, get engagement from the DReps, which I'm probably going to do. So I'll just post that ID and say, or if you guys have a wallet on GovTool, no, that's SanchoGov.tools. If you have a Lace wallet, a NuFi wallet, and Nami, but Nami, they have problems recently. I'm not sure about them. Let's not get there.
But will you share it in the chat real quick so I could vote on it, and then maybe we could look in real time and see that it has one
yeah.
yes vote.
Go for it. Okay, I'll put it there. The index is 0. I'm assuming that you're probably.
Yeah.
So if you guys have a wallet on Gov on SanchoGov.tools, you can also find that specific governance action on the website. You're not used to that. I know the CLI might be complicated sometimes, but that tool I'm talking about, the sanchogov.tools website, it uses the wallet that you already used to, Lace, NuFi, NAMI, and you just connect it like you do for smart contracts or DeFi and all those stuff. You connect your wallet. If you have a registered DREP, you can use it to vote. So you go into the vote section and you paste that ID into the search bar, and it's going to get you straight to that action. And you can vote yes on it, or no, or abstain because you want to be an asshole and you don't want to support us. Just kidding.
That's okay too, though.
Yes.
You have every right.
This is something that's great. That's called democracy and decentralization. So I like that as well. Anyway.
So I just voted yes, so that should be on chain soon.
Quite probably. Maybe I can check that. There it is. This is your vote.
Hey!
So we got Van Key Ash here. That's
I voted for myself.
I voted yes.
Hooray!
Did you use an anchor for your DREP registration? Did you do something like that?
I can't remember.
You can't remember? Okay.
I think I used one of yours.
Did you? We can see.
So,
Let's see. Okay, so there's a DREP who voted yes on my governance section.
I wonder who it is.
Good job. Anyway, that's the end of the tutorial about how to create a protocol parameter proposal update. This is it, guys. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. So the next one's going to be about how to build an info action, the way it works, also with the thresholds, because it might look a little bit confusing. So I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.